V.
Magical Girls! So, Sailor Moon just ended, and with the ending of Sailor Moon Crystal, it came across my mind, but I was wondering what you guys thought. How do you feel about this new Sailor Moon Crystal and how lighthearted it is compared to the last Magical Girl series that really hit the market, Madoka?
Yeah.
It being that considered the most revolutionary Magical Girl series. Like, how do you feel about the new stuff that's coming out for like our audiences or younger audiences for Magical Girls compared to what we watched when we were younger?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of what's going on with the Magical Girl genre nowadays is like way back when it first started, like with Sailor Moon especially, and like things like Cardcaptor Sakura and just a lot of Magical Girl anime in general, is that usually the main character needs to keep their innocence intact. Like, having their innocence intact and making sure they're happy is kind of the priority of everyone in the series. And they try to do that in Madoka, but they fail. Like, that's the biggest difference I feel, is just like that innocence is always preserved in classical Magical Girl, but like with stuff that's more coming out nowadays, they want to do something where it's just like, well, what happens if it isn't a happy ending?
That's true.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like they're trying to experiment with like kind of this new formula instead of just, keeping, it's just like, we have to make sure that Sakura never finds out that like Tomoyo is always sad or like stuff like that. Like, I find
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's just like Magical Girl anime, it's all about generally it's all about keeping innocence, whereas Madoka kind of turns that on its head.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, definitely revolutionary.
I feel like with like Sailor Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura, you have like, a girl who's like 10 or 14. Yeah, it's like everything, they're fighting evil, but everything's kind of happy all the time, like nothing really bad happens to them. Yeah. Madoka surprised me. It was so twisted. Like, when I watched it, I was expecting a Cardcaptor-esque anime, and then I saw it and I was like, whoa, this is messed up.
Yeah.
But I loved it though. It was really good. So I feel like that would cater to maybe more of an older audience, and then except for Sailor Moon because all the fans are older now. But I feel like maybe they're catering more to the older audience because that's where they can get the most money out of it, I feel like. Because with children will watch like the really happy-go-lucky sort of Magical Girl anime, but they're not going to get as much money out of that. So that's I don't know. I think from like a money perspective, and just from like not trying to be a repeat of Cardcaptors, a repeat of Sailor Moon. They want to be different. So you're right. The not happy anime, the kind of like twisted animation, the storyline. I think it's good. Mm-hmm. I think it's good change.
I thought, well, for me, Sailor Moon is on the same level, Madoka, of how dark it is, because the characters die every season, and there's so much tragic, like horrible stuff that happens. But with Sailor Moon, it's a coming of age of a girl discovering that life doesn't go as planned, but you need to do what you can to remain happy and keep your friends and just show affection, because if you become as cynical as the people around you, which you see all of her enemies have all lost hope, and that's why they've become what they are, and she's supposed to be like the one person who has not lost hope, and that's what her thing is all about. Well, Madoka is a parallel of Faust, where you have someone who decides to essentially sell their soul to the devil so that they can keep the affections or keep somebody else pure. And through their actions, they're somewhat redeemed, but they're not entirely. So the end is kind of fighting over who gets the soul of the main character. Because in Madoka's not the main character. Homura is the main character. And you learn that in episode 10. Doesn't matter, it's a spoiler. You've had 4 years to watch this. And the thing that I find what separates the most is that the fight sequences and the bloodshed and stuff like that in the new series is a lot more intense than it has ever been before. And that's something that's bypassing a lot of series. In another parallel of not a Magical Girl but has really strong females, Fate Stay Night. In the new Fate Stay Night series, there's a lot of bloodshed, a lot of stuff going on, while in the 2005 series, yes, there was, but it was never at the same level as it is now. So in what I think is going on is that things are becoming a little bit more real and less pretty and less and less dreamlike.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
like the thing I find most dreamlike is Magical Doremi that aired on 4Kids for us over there, Ojo Macho Doremi, which had the 5 girls who discover a witch, and then they're like, oh no, we found out who you are. She turns into a frog, and then she's like, now you need to become witchlings and learn how to be witches so that you can turn me back into a human being. And that show is very much just like, oh, you caught me, now you'll need to learn magic. And so you're like, that's very much dreamlike. It's very much a fantasy. It's not anywhere near the same level of like Sailor Moon, where the destiny of the universe lies on your shoulders, or Madoka, where you need to change the fabric of reality so people can remain happy.
There's nothing wrong with fantasy, right? It's enjoyable to watch, and I feel like if for younger girls, I think it's good though that they're having the more realistic kind of like storylines going on. It makes like when I was younger, I watched Powerpuff Girls, and that's how I got into fighting in martial arts. I was like people like, oh, it's so bloody, you know. It's like, but I'm like I can relate. I'm like, these are like little girls fighting crime. I'm like, I want to do that, right? So I feel like with like Madoka and stuff, even though it's not exactly realistic, it kind of makes girls more. It gives them more of a tough perspective on life, rather than just being, oh no.
Yeah. Another anime I wanted to bring to the table was Revolutionary Girl Utena,
Yes.
which is another really good magical girl anime. It had a very strong female lead. It came out around the same time as Sailor Moon as well.
Yes.
But it also had a darker aspect to it as well, especially in the movie compared to the series.
Do you guys find that the lessons that these new magical girl shows are teaching are good for people? Because in my opinion, the thing that I really liked about Madoka was the Sayaka arc, where you learn what happens
Poor
when
Sayaka.
you put someone else in front of you and you're not. Because the thing that I feel people need to learn is you need to be selfish sometimes. And what Sayaka does is she just gives up her soul so that somebody else has a chance of living their dream. But it turns around on her when that person ends up not liking her for what happened. And she realizes that because of what she's done, she can't ever be with the person she likes. So if the equivalent of in real life, where you give up everything for someone that you like, but then afterwards you find out that they don't really care for you, and you've already given them everything you possibly have, but they never asked for it.
Yeah, I think basically what old Magical Girls anime are, it's just like, it's very much a battle between good and evil, whereas Madoka, there's shades of gray.
Yeah.
So that's another huge difference too.
You know what? There's also like not just magical girl animes, there's also magical boy animes.
Yes!
Wow.
Oh my god, I want to
Like,
watch that so
For
badly.
example is Kamigami no Asobi, which is, not sure if you've heard of it, but it's about a girl who goes to like a god high school and it's full of like males and they all transform, kind of like Sailor Moon-esque. And then also the what was it called? Let me see. Binan Koko Chikyu Boibu Lovu.
Yeah, and there's also D and Angel. That one's that's a magical boy series as well.
So it's not just girl anime, it's also there's also boy animes as well.
Yeah,
Magical boy.
those are obviously like in good fun. I find more it's making fun of the magical girl anime, which is there's nothing wrong with that. I love parody animes to death. So just like having something like that is just it tickles my fancy, and I think it'll tickle like a lot of people who like the magical girl genre and can like have a good laugh about it. Just imagine magical boys.
Well, like even like Akame has magical girl aspects with the way they transform into their stuff, and even Kill la Kill has hardcore magical girl aspects. But I feel like the whole thing, like the thing that we associate to magical girl is just being like someone transforms and now they have their abilities.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the line of what made a magical girl has gotten so gray for like what really counts. That it's not really a subgenre anymore. It's now a trope, in my opinion. I don't really do you guys agree? It's a trope.
Maybe a little bit of both, honestly.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of both. Like it's kind of a trope, but it's also a genre. I don't think it needs one label necessarily. So
Let us know what you guys think. If you have any comments or anything, leave a comment below. Like, did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us?
Which one do you like more, Sailor Moon or Madoka? Let us know.
Or card captors.
Or card captors. or Utena.
What is your favorite magical girl anime?
Yeah.
Or magical boy anime.
V.
Hey guys, it's Kim. Thanks so much for watching our videos. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow the links in the description below so you can submit an article, as well as follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So till then, I hope to see you on our next video. じゃあまたね